if I were to seriously consider running on a national ticket, I would essentially have to start now before having served a day in the Senate. Now, there are some people who might be comfortable doing that, but I'm not one of those people.
So, my claim is not simply based on a speech. It is based on the judgments that I've displayed during the course of my service on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee.
Well, first of all, I became chairman of this committee at the beginning of this campaign, at the beginning of 2007. So it is true that we haven't had oversight hearings on Afghanistan.
No, 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 not God bless America, God damn America, that's in the Bible.
Senator Obama has been a member of the same church in Chicago for 20 years, where his pastor has been Reverend Jeremiah Wright, the man who performed the Obama's marriage ceremony, and the man Obama credits for the title of his book, The Audacity of Hope.
White America, U.S. of KKKA.
Did you know that he had made these statements before the videotape appeared?
You know, frankly, I didn't. I wasn't in church during the time that these statements were made. Did I ever hear him make remarks that could be considered controversial while I sat in the church? Yes. I did not hear such incendiary language myself personally, either in conversations with him or when I was in the pew. Did I ever hear him make remarks that could be considered controversial while I sat in the church? Yes.
We bombed Hiroshima, we bombed Nagasaki, and we nuked far more than the thousands in New York and the Pentagon, and we never batted an eye. The stuff we have done overseas is now brought right back into our own front yards. America's chickens are coming home to roost. The government lied about inventing the HIV virus as a means of genocide against people of color.
Wright's comments were not only wrong, but divisive. Divisive at a time when we need unity.
Senator Obama has been a member of the same church in Chicago for 20 years.
Divisive at a time when we need unity.
But also, do you reserve the right as American president to go back into Iraq?
As Commander-in-Chief, I will always reserve the right to make sure that we are looking out for American interests. And if al-Qaeda is forming a base in Iraq, then we will have to act in a way that secures the American homeland and our interests abroad.
Senator Obama made the statement that if al-Qaeda came back to Iraq after he withdraws, after the American troops are withdrawn, then he would send military troops back if al-Qaeda established a base in Iraq. I have some news. Al-Qaeda is in Iraq.
But I have some news for John McCain, and that is that there was no such thing as al-Qaeda in Iraq until George Bush and John McCain decided to invade Iraq.
But I will guarantee you, that while a lot of people in Manhattan and Georgetown and on college campuses are worried about what happened in 2002 and the lead up to the war, Americans are concerned about what's happening now. What's happening now is al-Qaeda is in Iraq. Score that one for John McCain. You can blame John McCain, you can blame George Bush, fine, blame them. But the question is, what do we do with the danger that is in front of us right now? And the danger in front of us right now is al-Qaeda in Iraq.
We can have our combat troops out by next year.
And I would have our troops out within 16 months.
He will, of course, not rely upon some plan that he's crafted as a presidential candidate or as a U.S. senator.
So the 16 months is negotiable.
It's a best case scenario.
It's a best case scenario.
It is on the basis of...
And of course in Iraq we've never seen best cases come off, so we needn't necessarily take it seriously.
Many people gave speeches against the war then, and the fair comparison is he didn't have responsibility, he didn't have to vote, and when he came to the Senate, he and I have voted exactly the same. We have voted for the money to fund the war until relatively recently. So the fair comparison is when we both had responsibility. when it wasn't just a speech, but it was actually action, where is the difference? Where is the comparison that would in some way give a real credibility?
If I were to seriously consider running on a national ticket, I would essentially have to start now before having served a day in the Senate. Now, there's some people who might be comfortable doing that, but I'm not one of those people.